Hello, everyone. I am Jess Tomlinson, and I am so excited today to be bringing you the most amazing women ever who I went to Bali with last year for the Radiance Recharge in 2015. And we were just catching up before this recording, and it feels so good to be back in the sisterhood. I cannot wait for you to hear a little bit about their experience because maybe my guess is you've been curious about what the heck is this Bali retreat, and what better way to hear about it and to really taste and touch and feel it than from the women who went with me last year. Or maybe you've been on the edge, right? Like you're like, oh, I really want to go on this trip, I'm not sure, and doing that kind of like dance, right? Like over the side. My deepest desire is for this conversation that we're about ready to have to spark something in you, to really give you that confidence in yourself to make a decision. Either way, I'm not attached to what decision you make. Maybe it's to apply to have a conversation with me. Maybe it's getting clear that the retreat is not for you. But either way, my deepest desire is for you to figure out what is your desire. And these amazing women that I have with me on this beautiful day are going to share a little bit more with you that will hopefully guide you to that place. So, all right, lovelies. So we are going to start with the first question, which is, what was your favorite moment in Bali? And we were just talking about this, you guys, how they're like, how are we going to choose one moment? So we're going to find out whoever shares first what their moment is, and then the next person will just have to share a different moment, even if it's the same moment. So that way you get a little bit of taste of kind of different moments. And ladies, feel free to say if somebody else stole your moment, totally fine. But that way at least we can all reflect on some of our favorite moments. I think that'll be good. So why don't we start with Miss Brooke?
Oh, hello. I get to start first, always.
Yeah.
Sitting here being with all of these women has been, I almost want to cry. Like, it was so powerful and it was so trusting and so loving to be able to dig through my own roadblocks and my own, I don't know, safety. I thought, we take care of ourselves in terrible ways sometimes. And so I think my take on the best moment would be in an act of sheer vulnerability and I don't know, honesty. I was able to discuss something that was really bothering me that I thought was my truth, and it wasn't. And they all supported me in the way that I was feeling, which maybe, it reflected on them how I felt what they were thinking when they weren't. And I don't think I've ever confronted anyone with something like that. So that tells you just how deep the trust goes and how wonderful it is to put that trust and love into other people. And then you realize you can do that to yourself. So for me, a moment of sheer anxiety turned into a beautiful moment of sisterhood.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Brooke. That was one of my favorite moments too, just so you know, as a coach, because I could see your pain and the struggle, and really supporting you in that. Your vulnerability just taught us all the biggest lesson, to speak up no matter what we're feeling. So thank you. I'm so glad that was your favorite moment.
Oh, great. No, it may
not
never,
that you were in, but
yeah, it may never happen again in my life, because I feel like I'm more aware of that negative self-talk that gets us all sometime or another. So yeah, I think it was beautiful that I could act on it and really find out that it wasn't true. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Love you. All right. So next up, Jen, Miss Jennifer.
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So it's hard to pick just one favorite moment, but I would say for me, it was really every morning gathering with my Bali sisters and sharing in our circle time and just really authentically and vulnerably connecting with women that I had never met before, and just finding such support and true sisterhood in those moments, and how we would end our morning circles and just really connecting one-on-one with some really, really powerful words. And I won't share what they are in case they are used on the next Bali retreat, but just the ability to truly connect with each woman and to honor them and exchange heart-centered hugs and just joy and lots of laughter, lots of tears, whatever emotions came up, just knowing it was all okay and it was all accepted, and it was a beautiful process. So those were some of my favorite moments. I cheated a little because they happened every morning.
Hey, there's no cheating. There's no cheating. That's Super Jack that wants to play by the rules. So
multiple moments every morning.
Yes. So for those of you watching, it's one of the exercises I guide the ladies through in Bali is discovering different parts of yourself. And one part of Jen was, we named her Super Jock. And so we kind of have an inside joke in the group that anytime Super Jock is like trying to take over, that's usually the part of Jen that she has to keep in check.
She's very competitive. Thank you. Thank
you. Thanks for sharing that was your favorite moments in the morning. And I love one of my favorite photos is the one where I think you and Larissa are like laughing, and you're super tall and Larissa's really short. And then there's like Sandy over here, I think, like admiring everybody, hugging, and then there's me and Brooke in the back, I think, hugging. I can't remember exactly, but it's one of my favorite photos. So I love that you say that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too. Thanks.
Thank you, love. All right, Larissa.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna kind of piggyback a little bit, kind of, sort of. So my favorite moment was actually a combination I guess a combination of Jen's, I should say, but it's just the reflective times, whether that was more so just being able to share something and then everyone else being able to reflect on what you said, just because it was, I mean, you go into, or at least I went into it feeling like I'm a certain type of person or think this way. In reality, people see you in a completely different light, kind of what you were saying too, Brooke. So that was my favorite moment, just hearing what other people thought about you. And that was just very inspiring, very motivating, very powerful for me to hear. That's it.
I love that. I love that. I think that's something that we forget about too, because we're also afraid to even receive feedback. But then when we're in like a safe place, right, where we know that it's going to be loving feedback, just a reflection, like even those moments we had around the pool, right? Like remember all the like hors d'oeuvres that were being served to us and all the like smoothies and juices, and we're just like, oh my God, like in abundance, and having those moments by the pool of just like reflecting as well as the circle time, right?
That was my second favorite moment.
Really?
Cool. Yeah.
I must have just known. I love that. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Larissa. That's really, I love that. I didn't think about that as a favorite moment. Beautiful. Okay, do you want to put yourself back on mute, Larissa? And now Miss Sandy.
Hi.
Hi.
So I want to cheat a little bit too, because my moment, like, I have to explain like the culmination of how it got to be that moment. And
Sure.
it was the day of our goddess photo shoot. And I'll get to like the moment that was my favorite, and that's like what popped into my head the first thing that you said. But in order to get to that moment, there was a lot of releasing that needed to happen. And I think it was the day that we named Super Jock and we named Princess Perfect. That was that morning of the goddess photo shoot, right? Was that the same day? It all flows together.
I think it probably was.
I think it was. And
I know, I can't remember.
So getting all of that, like getting ready for the goddess photo shoot and releasing my need to be perfect, and resonating so much with Super Jock as well, and needing to put them in a box and like just truly be ourselves and lean into our vulnerability and our femininity, and just so beautiful, even going through the photo shoots and all of that fun that we had doing it, and going to dinner and having so much laughter and connection and play, and ending the night on the beach, and this was my moment, letting the paper lanterns go, and just the amount of play that we had it really has sparked like my words for this year are play and bliss from that day. And everything about this year is about me leaning into play and bliss. Like, I've been so responsible my entire life. Like, it was such a huge moment for me to lean into play and to be able to do it with my sisters, and it was just so amazing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that you said that. And I'm cracking up over here because Brooke is like, and the drinking. She's like,
and the drinking looked a little inappropriate. And yes, there's so many things, like, oh, so fun. So fun.
So fun, right? And for everybody watching, so one thing I love to say is this is not your typical Bali retreat. Like, a lot of Bali retreats are yoga every day, green juice, fasting, like, this is all about finding that dance between what's nourishing and good for us and letting a little bit of the, your wildness come out and really like feeling into pleasure. So yes, we do have champagne and wine and have fun and little shenanigans on this trip, which is just so amazing. And I also love that you say, Sandy, of like the sinking into our feminine and really like letting that go and shining during your photo shoot because of that. I never realized what an impact that naming those parts of you would do to set it up for the photo shoot. So
it was beautiful, as if you planned it to happen for me.
Well, I don't take full responsibility. I kind of plan, but I work mostly off intuition, so it's all spirit moving through me. And I'm surprised that you didn't talk about the Holy Springs Water Temple as your favorite moment too, because I think all of us could say that was one of the favorite moments, right? So actually, I'll go and say that was my favorite moment, was witnessing as the leader, right? Not only for myself, because it was so powerful, and I just washing yourself in these holy waters. For everybody watching, this is a really ancient old temple built in 980, and the Balinese believe it's literally water from God. And so you get into the fountains and you bathe yourself, and literally it's transformation, cleansing everything, manifesting. It's pretty much just the most powerful experience ever, and I was totally bawling my head off. But my favorite moment was witnessing all of you coming out of the water and just like literally I feel like we look like different people, and just like we weren't even talking. Do you guys remember that? Like, nobody was talking. We were all just like standing there like in our zone of just soaking in the magical experience, the transformation. That was just such a beautiful moment for me to witness all of you in your radiance. So Amazing. Okay, so on to the next and final question that I'm so excited to hear about this too, is if you look at your life before Bali and then now after, can you paint us a little bit of a picture of maybe a little bit of what it looked like before and how you feel like Bali has really helped you transform in your life now and what that looks like? So let's start again with Brooke.
Okay, well, as you ladies know, the fall before, so we left in April, so in November I went through a major depressive episode where I was hospitalized, and it was a very difficult time. And knowing Jess, I think I even saw this in December when she posted about the Bali retreat, and it took me a little bit because, you know, I didn't have the money, so to speak, because I hadn't worked for a month plus, and I was like, I'm going. I'm going to go. And it was almost out of stubbornness that I allowed myself to go. And what's so interesting is that the biggest takeaway for me is being able to have finally given myself the permission to do something for myself. In the holy waters, I prayed for everyone else, you know, because it's so hard to imagine that I would have deserved it, which is something that slowly got chipped away while we were in Bali. And I worked with Jess also after, sort of in the second program, and worked through a lot of things about difficult discussions and being able to put myself first, and say my truth to someone in a loving way. All of this has given me much more confidence in a way that I'm now I'm seeking to start a business that allows people to volunteer easier. There's so much. When I went to Greece to help with the refugees, and there were so many people saying, there's people that need here to help. I'm like, well, okay, show me the list. Give me the sign-up sheet. Show me. And you can't really find that kind of thing. So my able to go to Bali for myself is now what is enabling me to say, I want an MBA. I want an executive MBA degree so that I can meet with the best people around the world in these very successful businesses and make those global contacts so that helping as one person is a phenomenal thing. It's always been the most fulfilling thing I've ever done. And I think the world needs more of that, the people to experience the art of giving of themselves. So from going in being the last person that I worried about, which, hello, depression, to becoming this sort of pinnacle of I can help so many more people. Like, look what I can do. Like, this is my gift, and because I do like to talk to people and that sort of thing. So yeah, I can't even put it into a quick, easy sentence, but life is forever changed, and I feel so blessed. So thank you, Jess.
You're so welcome. Thank you for allowing yourself and being stubborn. Like, sometimes we gotta get a little stubborn and, like, you know, screw that, I'm doing it. Like, it doesn't seem respectful, but I'm doing it, and I'm so grateful for you. Like, you're such this demonstration of, I just will never forget all the signs that you were getting in Bali of like, oh, I'm supposed to do this type of mission work and helping people and helping children in other countries. And, you know, at that time it was Africa and all these weird signs in Bali, and then it like meandered, and then you went to Greece, and it's just like, woman, it's so beautiful. Like, to think about your journey, and the, you know, who knows if you never would have given yourself permission. to really like nurture your desires, and you're also helping people, which is the whole point of it all. It's the whole point of it all. So I'm so blessed. I feel so blessed to been on this journey with you, not only in Bali but through the 6-month program as well. Thank you.
The only other thing I would like to say is that I live my life thinking that I'm happy enough, that things are good, even though something feels like it's missing sometimes. And I feel that when I was able to give of myself what I needed and to dive into really like my purpose and my desire for my life, that empty spot is gone. Like, I feel like it was because I wasn't listening to my soul, almost. Like, it was like I was ignoring so much of who I wanted to be. And now I don't have that. It's amazing.
Wow. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome.
All right, Jen.
Yes. So I think for me, oh, can you hear me? Just want to make sure.
Yeah, I was loving you through your yes.
Yes, I am here. I think for me, at the end of Bali, I remember our closing night, and I felt like I was literally a different person from the time I had gotten on that plane until the last night. And, you know, one of my motivations for going to Bali was really identifying, like, wow, I'm literally kind of just giving, which brings me so much joy. But I was realizing when it was a little bit too late that there was nothing left in the hopper for me. And how much of an impact can we really make when we're not filling our cup first before we fill other people's cups? So when I signed up for Bali, I overcame a lot of fears and my own just stuff around finances, because I didn't necessarily have the money readily available. But I took the leap of faith because it really just resonated in my body that this is what I need. I need to do something for myself, and it's okay to invest in myself. And it's been interesting, I think, because since coming back, there's been so many changes and transitions. And I would say probably my biggest transformation has been just being okay with where I'm at, and again knowing and trusting that I'm in the exact place where I'm supposed to be at any given time. And to add to that, you know, sometimes I'm still, even more recently, kind of falling back into some old patterns of behavior where I'm giving and then realizing at the end, I'm leaving nothing in the hopper for myself. But what I will say, what I should say is different with that pattern is there's so much more awareness around it now that I see it a lot faster, versus before I would go for weeks or months and then I would have essentially a breakdown. And now, you know, I can see it very quickly and then I can make a choice. And what's interesting, even leading up to this call, in the last week I was just on the go and I was so exhausted. So yesterday at 5 o'clock, I just said, okay, what do I need? I'm going to listen to what I need. I'm not going to start cleaning my house or doing more work or just staying busy. It was like, I need to rest. I need to just do nothing, and that's okay. And so I just laid on my couch and laid in silence a little bit and watched a movie, and then snuggled with my body pillow this morning and just like allowed myself to just chill out and be. And it was like, okay, and I still have some work I have to do later that I didn't complete yesterday for my job, but it's like creating today was about me and what's going to make my heart happy first. And then I'll get to that other stuff that I still have to do, you know, my responsibilities, etc. So there's been a shift, I think, for me. I was always so driven, especially for my career and at any cost, even to my own health. And that's been shifting where it's, you know, there are so many things in the world that I can do, people I can connect with, exploring those things that bring me more joy outside of the things that sustain me to pay my bills, as an example. And then also having faith and making some tough decisions. I had to just in the last few months really seeing that I needed to create some space so I can shift some things in my life. So I was serving on the board of directors for Dazzle Africa, which is a nonprofit I'm really passionate about the work we're doing over in Mafui, Zambia, but I had to look at just the amount of time I had and the energy I was having in my current life situation, and it was so tough for me, but just knowing, you know what, it's okay to resign from the board right now and create a space that another woman who has more time and energy can step up and step in, although I'm still so passionate about the mission that we're doing, but it's okay to say no. And before Bali, saying no was really not in my wheelhouse, pretty much at all. So, you know, it's giving my permission to say no or to say yes to myself and the things that are important to me. So thank you. Would not be here without you, Jess, and you're amazing. Just the way you held us in Bali, as well as all my Bali sisters. It was just, it's such a magical experience, and it's so hard to put into words. So I just always go back to, I'm so grateful that I listened. And, you know, I finally paid off the trip this last January when I received my bonus, and I thought, you know what, to me it showed it was okay. It was okay to make that investment in myself. I never regret it for one day that I still, you know, I had to pay it off months after the trip was over. I never even thought about it because it was so powerful. And for me, that was really important because I have had so many blocks around abundance and around finances. And so it was going, okay, it's okay to make an investment. And more recently, I had an opportunity to make an investment to go on a weekend away to explore a new side business for wine. And it was just in my body, everything was saying yes. So I just said, yes, I'm going to meet some amazing people. Let me go learn about wine and hear about this company. And I'm not sure when I'm going to have time to fit it in, but everything feels good. And so it's just like giving myself that permission, and that didn't exist before the Bali trip.
Mm. Wow, Jen. Thank you so much for, you want to mute yourself? I think we're doing something. Perfect. Okay, good. Now I can love you up without having to hear myself twice. Wow. I just want to acknowledge you because I know that you were hesitant to even show up today, right? And you even just saying, like, I was so busy and being real that things aren't always perfect, even after Bali, right? We all have real lives, but that awareness of now being able to, like, oh, like, catch yourself when something is happening, like, that is amazing and so beautiful. And so I know for sure I would have been sad if you weren't here. All your sisters would have been sad. And if you would have needed to take care of yourself, totally would have been fine. But my whole point is, like, I just want to honor you for being vulnerable and sharing that things haven't been, like, 100% amazing, and that it really has been that awareness that is one of the biggest things for you that's paid off. So, and saying no, whew, yeah, girl, that used to never be in my vocabulary either. So I want to celebrate you. I wasn't sure if you had stepped down, so I want to celebrate you in doing that for yourself and knowing that it's okay and that your no opens up a yes for somebody else, and that's the greatest service to all. So So amazing. And I just have to say, would you like to share another amazing thing that you manifested in Bali? Hello. Hello.
Yeah, I didn't talk about that. So we had a day where we had some really powerful exercises around wants and desires, and what came out through that in spirit was just that I desired to have an amazing, supportive man in my life who was super passionate. I mean, the list goes on and on. We don't need to share it with the whole world, but there were lots of deep desires through that exercise. And in mid-June, I met an amazing man who, his name is Sam. He has just been so supportive through all of the changes and transitions that have been going on in my life, and just such like a rock and pillar of strength. So very supportive, but also calls me on my shit when I'm falling down in a very supportive and healthy way, which, you know, in my history of relationships, I didn't always choose the best men for myself. So it feels really good to have someone who is healthy and supports me, and I support him, and there's no drama. Imagine that, a relationship with no drama. It can happen. So yeah, so anyway, that was definitely a part of what we created in Bali, and yeah, I'm just super grateful for him coming into my life, and for the space that we created in Bali for that to happen. And he's definitely by far the most passionate man I've ever been with in the bedroom. So that was all part of the desire exercise. So yeah.
And how soon after Bali did you meet him?
June 20th. And
okay.
So that was what, 2 months? April, May, 2 months. What's that?
I said 1.5, technically.
1.5.
Amazing. Well, I'm so celebrating you, sister.
Thank
you.
you.
Celebrating you and all the things that you have created for yourself, and the infusion of awareness and self-care. Oh, and I mean, there's so many things that are coming up for me, but I'll just shut my mouth. I'm like, you enrolled in something too when you got back. But I know we're taking up a lot of time here, so if you don't want to share that, that's totally fine. And I also know that you need to go, Jen, so feel free if you do need to drop off that you can do that. I support you in dropping off if you need to, okay? All right. Okay, Larissa.
Hello. I just want to say that I miss Jen's big smile. Yes, so kind of have a brain fart here. So when my initial thought of going, I was at a place where I felt so broken, with, you know, kind of going through a breakup and that sort of thing, and still dealing emotionally with that, and just this imbalance in my life emotionally, job, place of residency, and that sort of thing. So it just, in terms of me hearing about the trip, it just honestly came at a perfect time. I initially saw it kind of like, you know, push it aside, and then, you know, an opportunity came up, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go and do it, you know. And I remember talking to you on the phone, and really, like, you know, it was like pulling teeth. I felt, you know, like I wanted to go, but a part of me didn't know if I should or should not go, kind of thing. And then I just remember having this just intense emotion that just came over me, and I was like, my heart just was really saying, you need to go, you know. And so without even knowing if I would have time off, like nothing was planned, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go, you know. And honestly, it was the first time, I have to say, in a long time, even if it's the first time really, that I felt it was the first thing, I mean, that I did something for myself for the very first time without having to ask permission from anyone else in my life. So I'm really glad overall that I took the trip. I didn't know what to expect. But it was an amazing experience. I think what it didn't. I mean, after Bali, obviously, it was a transition period to a roller coaster ride, nonetheless. But even still, I think it was definitely a good start to the journey of self-awareness, kind of like what Jen was saying too, like just becoming more self-aware of who I am and what I want, and this need to prove to others, and that I have to, do everything because everyone else wants me to do this or that, and just coming to a place where I can do things, because my heart says it's right, or not do things because my heart says it's not right. So this whole year has, coming back from Bali, I should say, I just been in this journey of kind of healing for myself and becoming more aware of myself in terms of what my heart wants, to include people in my life that I feel, they were friends, so to speak, but they were never really close to me, so I didn't feel nearly as obligated to go do things and join certain things because of those quote-unquote friends, when in reality I didn't have that deeper relationship to them, and so therefore I was like, you know what, I'm not going to go. Instead, I'm going to go get a massage. I'm going to go hiking instead. And it was just a really great and refreshing to be able to be okay with that and accept that about myself, and be aware that that's what I need. I needed to do my thing and not go hang out with whoever it was, just because my body wasn't needing that, I guess. So I guess overall, just what I took away from that was just our trip was just the self-awareness of it, and knowing that I am stronger than I think I am. And yeah, so it was just, in a nutshell, that's that. So just being inspired by you ladies, just being able to share, and feeling like I'm the only person going through this. Like I'm the only person having these emotions. And in reality, I'm not, and hearing the stories you got to share with me and getting, feedback from you guys, it was again inspiring and powerful to know that we all kind of had our own journeys, but yet we had the same emotions and same feelings that we're all dealing with, So it was good to know that I'm not alone in that aspect. So
yeah. Thank you, Larissa. I love that, because it's so easy to feel alone, like we're the only ones going through it. And until we actually reach out, we're always going to feel like that, right? So I'm so glad that was one of the things that was a gift for you in Bali, is really feeling connected, like you're not the only one going through this, and we're all going through struggles, and we can celebrate each other at the same time. Like it doesn't have to be either or, it can be both, And absolutely. I love that you got to a place where now you're like, you know what? I don't really want to hang out with them. I want to go take care of me, go on a hike. I love that, and I can so relate. That used to very much be me as well, of like feeling like I should be the good friend and like go and like hang out with certain folks that maybe are just not like super nurturing to my soul. And so I love that. I'm so glad that you are now in that space. And you want to show everybody your tattoo that you got after Bali?
So it's free, and that kind of represents a lot of different things, but just this feeling of being to be free of the self-doubt, or the obligations, the shoulds, as you say, that you should do this and that. Just free to be ever who I want to be, and just be more true to myself and what I'm expected to do for others. So
I love that, and I'm not sure if everybody could see it. The screen is blurry, but it's a bird, right?
I don't know if you can see it very well, though.
You can see it better now. Yeah. Beautiful.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Larissa. Love it. Okay. Sandy, you want to close us out?
I don't know if I can follow up all of that. It's like ditto, ditto, ditto. Can I just say that? Does that work? Yeah.
Because I guarantee you're going to have something beautiful to share with your own transformation.
thinking back to who I was before Bali, I felt like I was in touch with myself. I felt like I, knew myself well. Uh, but there's this whole other level of self-trust that has emerged that has been so amazing, that I'm so grateful for every day, to have the level of self-love and self-trust that I do today. I was nowhere near this a year ago. I was in so much doubt and so much heaviness and so much fear over a lot of things. I I was separated, had been separated for a couple months, but still living with my ex, and trying to process through all of that, and trusting myself with growing my business and knowing that it was the right thing to be doing, but yet could I do it? Could I make it happen? All of these fears and doubts, and not trusting myself and not trusting my intuition, and constantly getting in my own head, down to, like Larissa said, I think it truly was the first time that I said yes to myself without asking anyone's permission as well. I literally just said, yeah, I'm in. Wait, what am I going to do with my kid? Wait, what am I going to do with work? Wait, how am I going to pay for it? Wait. I, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. And I did, and I'm so glad I did, because I extended my trip to Bali, and I ended up doing some training for work while I was there afterwards. So I was gone from my son for 16 days, which is the longest I had ever been away from him. And I thought that was going to be harder than it was. And it truly was such a gift for me and for him. And Jess really helped me lean into that, is that he's growing as a young man as well, and he needed time and space to miss mom a little bit, and I needed time to focus on me and put me first, because I had been putting him first and everyone else first my whole life. And to really truly lean into the best part about me being a mom is being the example that you deserve to take care of yourself and you deserve to love yourself. And showing him that is so amazing, down to simple examples now. I got invited last minute, like with an hour's notice, to go to a Celine Dion concert. And he was out to dinner with his youth group leader and was supposed to be getting home at the time that I was supposed to be leaving for the concert. And I called him and I said, hey, bud, you know what? I don't want to leave you at home at night. And I got the, Mom, I'm 14. Go to the concert. That's awesome. You're going to love it. I'm fine. And I had to let go of my own fears of, protective mama bear, and go, yeah, I can go have a blast and listen to Celine Dion because she's amazing. And my kid's going to be fine for 2 hours. And yeah, he is like, I was home alone by myself when I was probably 8. Like, what am I worried about? And so yeah, there's just so many things that I love. Larissa's tattoo, and the word free is so symbolic for me as well. And there was one morning in Bali when we talked about, word, I don't even remember what it was, but the acronym FREE had come up for me even prior to Bali, but I shifted it in Bali to stand for, really how I make choices in my life. That, is it fulfilling? Does it make me feel radiant? Is it empowering? And is it enlightening? And just to have that and see that on your arm, Larissa, I'm like, rock on. That's why we connect as sisters. And so much of who we each were in Bali together, we were the right people to be there for each other in so many different moments, and including with Jess. I mean, that Jess even leading this, but there was just so much of that. You gave me so many gifts, and Jen, you gave me so many gifts, and Brooke, you gave me so many gifts, and Larissa, you gave me so many gifts, and I carry that with me so much now, and it is so much part of my self-trust, is that I know you guys have my back, and I can call in freaking if I need to.
Thank you so much, Sandy, for sharing that. Wow. Yeah, I love the reinforcing idea of, like, the perfect group came together. And that's always the way it is. You know, my group this year will end up being perfect too, but you all were meant to be together for a specific reason. Like, there is no coincidence there. And just even your level now of trusting Sandy, like, I mean, my gosh, I know we did a separate interview where you got to share a lot more in detail things in your life, but even from finally moving out, from living with your ex, getting your own place, your business doing much better where it finally sustains you, you like are just like on fire. It's so amazing, this like whole level of new intuitive powers you have. I think that's the way you really keep describing it, is like feeling so in alignment with that. And one of my favorite things in Bali was watching you just like be in your divine feminine, like luxuriating, beautiful, soaking up the senses.
So crazy, from labeling myself as a tomboy my entire life. And I love that side of me too. Like, I'm not afraid to, you know, I'm doing a Tough Mudder at the end of this month, which is crazy to me. And leaning into that side of me, because that's fun too. But yet, I was able to go to a masquerade gala and dress up and get my hair done, my makeup done. And I love that side of me too. And just loving all of the different layers. And that's what makes me me. And I don't think I've ever been in such a place where I'm good with who I am. And yes, I would love to have a relationship with someone who's fabulous, and hopefully he's as fabulous as Sam and Jen describes him. And yet at the same time, I'm good. Like, I'm so happy with the life that I'm creating for me, because it's what's right for me. And inspiring and empowering others to do the same for themselves, especially working with educators, is an amazing gift that I'm meant to give and to share. And this trip, you know, just helped me own that more, that I am the right person to be doing this.
Beautiful. Thank you guys so much for sharing your journeys. Wow, like this is not only selfishly such a huge gift for me to hear and be like, yes, I love what I do, but to do it for yourself, right? Like, to really like think back and acknowledge, like, you guys made this happen. Like, I was here, I created the retreat, and I said, come one, come all. But you guys chose that. And that is so beautiful. And that's what's really present to me right now. And I think the thread in each and every one of your shares is that you all made a decision, even though there was hesitation, to put yourself first and to do that. And Larissa, I love that you shared, I forgot to acknowledge on yours, that our conversation was very much about, like, I could just feel like you wanted to go, but you're holding yourself back. You wanted to go, but you're holding yourself back. And so I'm so celebrating that each and every one of you went, that it's almost been a year, and that these beautiful things have transpired, and that I get to be lucky enough to say that I got to hold space for that. So I just feel so grateful to have you amazing women now in my heart, and that you're all connected. And I can't believe how connected you all still are, with your text messages back and forth and like mailing each other little gifts, and it just lights me up and makes me so happy. So thank you. Thank you guys so much, and for your vulnerability, willing to share with anyone watching, to let them know that they're not alone too. And so if any of you are feeling like you can resonate with any of these ladies' stories, right? Like, maybe there was something that one of them said that you're like, oh my gosh, that is so me. And it just burns at your heart, and you're longing for this sisterhood like these ladies have created, and you're longing for the type of transformational experience that is going to be about you. 9 full days focused on you in the beautiful setting of Bali. It's a very intimate retreat. I only have space for 8 women. And right now I am down to having 3 spots open as of the time of this video. So if you are feeling called and you want to have a conversation and explore with me, take these ladies' brave stories as the example that you can do it too. I know sometimes we sit back and we're like, I can't do it. I can't make it happen. It's impossible. You know, we come up with all these reasons, right? I don't have the money. I don't have the time. Oh my gosh, it's too soon. How am I going to find the flight? How am I going to find like somebody to take care of things while I'm gone? Trust me that it all works out. I mean, I think it was Sandy that said, like, well, Sandy and Larissa both were like, I didn't ask permission from anybody. I just said yes, and then you figure it all out. Because my guess is you're a very smart woman if you are watching this video and you know how to figure stuff out. And actually, probably that's part of what's put you where you're at right now, is that you're now like, okay, I'm really good at figuring stuff out and like doing and going. Now it's time for me. So I would love the opportunity to have a conversation with you if you are feeling like this is something that resonates. You can go to apply. It's an application process, just a short little application, and you'll also find more information about the specifics of the retreat at theradiancerecharge.com. theradiancerecharge.com, and there's buttons on there for you to apply, and that email will come to me, and then we'll set up a phone call if it looks like you could be a possible fit, and have a deep, beautiful conversation just to explore how this could possibly transform your life like it has for these women. So, all right, loves, it was a great honor being able to ask these amazing women questions and share them with you. I hope you really enjoyed, and I hope to see you around. All right, bye.